Good morning, doctor. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so glad to talk to you because it's that time of year where we are talking emotional shopping for the holidays. And this is something that triggers people this time of year. Why is that?
Well, one of the reasons it happens is because, we have a very deeply emotional place where people want to create this joy and this happy holiday and they want to avoid the disappointment from loved ones. And it results in people feeling like they have to guilt give. And in fact, we have over 52% of people participating in guilt giving already to the tune of $250 or more. And when you're combining that nostalgia, that stress, that pressure, it's bound to lead to people spending with their emotions versus their budgets.
Yeah. Let's talk about social media because that also is a problem of people overspending. So, how do we kind of like make sure we're not doing that?
Social media can make the holidays feel very much like a performance. And nearly one in five people admit that they've bought something just to post it online, with 22%, giving in to the buying of trends that are posted online. And these platforms, they really amplify that comparison culture and really, increase that belief out there, that myth really, that the perfect holiday has to look and feel a certain way. So people spend to keep up. And really at that point, it becomes about the image, not about the decorations or the gifts. It becomes, about looking a particular way.
Yeah, and it's so amazing that with that type of shopping, that kind of spending, people ruin their holidays because they're guilty on hiding the amount of money they spent from their loved ones. And so, how can we not have that happen?
A lot of people feel ashamed about their holiday spending, and so they do tend to hide it. And it's not that they're, intentionally being dishonest. It's just they don't feel good about it. And what we found is that 25% of people in relationships, they're hiding their purchases, or have already hidden their purchases from their partner, because they don't want to add additional stress. They don't want to add additional judgment to a time that's already emotionally charged here in the holiday season. And I really think talking and setting those expectations ahead of time with your partner can start to alleviate that secrecy and shame that leads to those hiding types of behaviors.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about simple steps that people can take to not overspend during the holiday season.
Yeah, the first thing I would recommend is talk early and start having those conversations with your friends and family. Set those expectations, those boundaries before shopping even starts. Second, pause before purchase. Begin to notice if you have any emotional triggers that lead to that, comparison shopping, for example, or that impulse shopping. Third, give yourself permission to say no. 'Tis the season for all these outings and group office gifts. And I really think being able to say no isn't a bad thing. It's really an act of financial self-care. Protecting your peace and your wallet is so powerful. And just remember, at the end of the day, you're allowed to use your values to choose and guide you in what you purchase, instead of relying on these outside sources or these comparative sources. Let yourself guide the way. That way you can feel a little less pressure and maybe a little bit more joy and less guilt in the holiday season.
I like it. And okay, doctor, we talked about this before we started the interview, but what about shopping for yourself and overdoing it like I'm doing right now?
We all have a tendency to overdo it. And so my advice there is let yourself overdo it just a little, as long as it feels good. I recommend playing the tape forward. If you're not going to feel good about this purchase by the time you walk out to the car, or certainly when you get that credit card bill, it's probably a no-go. And just set that guardrail up for yourself. But it is okay to enjoy the holiday season, just in an amount that makes you feel good at the end of the day.
I like it, doctor. I thank you very much. Where can we find more information?
Sure. Please visit beyondfinance.com's financial wellness section. We've got some great free tools, resources, and of course, our holiday spending tip sheet meant to support you with your shopping during this holiday season.
Perfect. I'm going to head over there right now, doctor. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.